Hi Adeayo, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How you doing? Good
I'm
morning.
very well, thank you. Okay, so we're in the month of June. The year
Yeah.
is clearly halfway done.
Yeah.
So we just want to talk about how the music industry has fared so far.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Okay, so would you say that there was a slow start to the year?
Absolutely. I mean, things didn't start taking off until maybe May. I mean, we had music dropping January, February, but it was just we never had that like momentum. We never got it going, and there was no like solid hit song or a song that just blew everyone out of the water. See the first quarter. That's January to March. There was hardly any song that blew anyone out of the water. We had Aerostar's Coma did very well. Then some carryover songs from last year was still performing very well. To Egu, different pattern, like carried over into the first quarter. But like 2024 itself, there was no, like we didn't like hit the ground running. And also in terms of even new artists, there's not been a lot of new artists like new talents making waves. I mean, they have been, to be fair, we've seen Iomaf, Dilla with Fireboy, songs to Madness, and a couple of other artists. They also enjoyed a good year so far. Maybe Nas Boy, King Madi is having a good run, and this Badman Nico, then TML Vibes, Muiz and Kobo. Like if you compare it to say what we had last year with Charlie Poppy and Odumodu Black, it's just it's a bit short of that. So yeah, we had a slow start to the year. Even in terms of album, we didn't really have like quality. I don't want to be like too critical, but we didn't quite have like resounding albums drop until say me, possibly until Ira dropped the album. That's when I said, okay, fine, let's get like we're getting serious now. We're getting the party started. Like before then, it was just like really banal, just a bit of just piano obsession and people just repeating. It just was very repetitive, right? So that was that was why that was like what it looked like at the first quarter of the year. And why was that? I would say, I mean, the same thing I said when we had a conversation on why we've not had any hits on 2024 yet. And it's still, I think it's the carryover of the Amapiano on hangover. Like people were tired. The sound has been stretched to its creative limits. Like it has been stretched to its elasticity point, and there's just nothing new that could come out of that sound. I mean, we've been exploring our piano for 3 years now. Shake came, added, the Fuji bounce to it. Free Vibes did the Aquala side to it. Charlie Poppy came, added the whole sound and vibe to it. So it's, and then KC of course added the Oja, the southern southeastern flavor to it. So it's been stretched. We've had tons of each song from our piano, and listeners have just come to be overwhelmed and overfed, and even to the point of constipation from our piano. And there's just really nothing new. There's really nothing that is blowing anyone out of the water. So it's repetitive, and people are saying, okay, we've had enough. That's it. Like we need something refreshing. We're tired of this lock drop. So that kind of like let it start slow, because now artists are now beginning to, maybe I'm just guessing here, they're beginning to doubt, have two minds. That, okay, people are beginning to complain about my piano, and there's really nothing else that seems to be popping now. So I tend to lean towards my piano. So they're not sure what to drop. And a couple of artists were able to drop songs that stepped away from my piano and still delivered like strong moments, like say Twe Showa. I mean, notably Kiss Daniel. There's also Shea Vibes, Coma, and when Ira dropped her album, it just seems like she just like kicked the industry into gear. So yeah, you're absolutely right, and anyone is absolutely right when they say we've had a slow start to the year. Ordinarily, the year starts maybe March. This year we didn't really get it going until say ending of April, May. So yeah, it's been a slow start to the year.
Okay, so overlooking the slow start to the year, in general, would you say that the music industry is beginning to take shape?
Yeah, yeah. Again, I said I think by around May, that's last month, when Ara dropped her album, things just like started getting heated up. Ara dropped, not short after that, Tempstra, short after that, Victoria dropped. So there's volume, and you need volume to set momentum. You need volume to set a rhythm, and we've had that. Like we've recently had that volume now, and with volume comes, you're now able to like, okay, see a lot more songs popping, decide, okay, which one is going to edge which one. You begin to see like more changes on the charts, so that's really nice. And so the year is beginning to take shape as well, even although sonically the year is not quite taking shape yet. What we still have is it's still that leaning towards Amapiano. People tend to still want to create Amapiano records because that's what is still familiar. You know, artists tend to follow what is popular, what is familiar with consumers, and Amapiano is still the most familiar sound right now. So there's still a big chance that, not even a big chance, a bulk of the songs that have dropped this year, they are still Amapiano leaning. But at the same time, we're seeing artists step away from Amapiano a bit. So while I wouldn't say there's no notable change in the soundscape right now, like there's no, when Ashake came in and just brought that piano vibe, that bounce with Magic Stick, they created like a unique type of production where they added the violins, the strings, and Magic Stick just roll lock drums in a very interesting way that no one before him has managed, and this kind of like changed the soundscape, and everyone just followed that footstep and tried to create something off that. We have not seen that this year. We're still just carrying over from what we've been doing the last 2 years, but at the same time people are gradually stepping away from our piano, so it's taking shape. There's volume, more projects are dropping, and it's summer already. It's June, so summer has started and more artists are throwing their arts into the ring, for a chance to score a summer hit. We've seen more big artists drop song, and I mean it's expected anyway, because the year, like, you have time to check what's going on, to study the ground, study the industry, and see, okay, what has worked so far, what's not working, what are people feeling. Then with that you can readjust accordingly and drop something, in the hopes of scoring a summer song. So yeah, so with the coming months we're also going to see a lot of volume. So yeah, the industry is beginning to finally take shape, and it seems like, okay, fine, this is the mood we're going to be in this year, and this is what we should expect this year.
Yeah. So far, who do you think is leading the race for album of the year and song of the year?
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting one. With album of the year, a bulk of the consideration will come from last year. Eddie's 2023 held in September, and the consideration period was from, I think it was from January 2022 to March 2023. So that means the consideration of 2024 will likely be, say, April 2023 to maybe, possibly, if they like, June 2020, or maybe August 2024, right? So that means we're considering projects from April last year to, let's say, till now, to this current time. So, and I think a couple of albums will get the nod for nominations. I think would likely maybe get a look in for nomination. I mean, Ashake's sophomore album, Work of Art, definitely will get a nomination. I think Flavor's African Royalty, Burna Boys, I told them, these are albums that will get nominated. I think they come to this year. I mean, that's from last year. They come to this year. Victoni's recent album might get a look in. Thames album as well. Timmy Dakolo's album, The Crush Leader, Iblis's album, and of course the elephant in the room. Maybe not the elephant in the room. The most obvious choice, Arasta's album, the year 2021. I think it's, for right now, if I'm going to see right now who is leading the race, I think it's a tight race. I would say maybe a three-horse race, with Thames's Born in the Wild as a dark horse, but I would say it's a two-horse race between Ashake's Work of Art and Arasta's The Year I Thought 21. And I think recency is going to play a lot of role. Recency will play a role in who wins that category, because I mean, if the edits is going to follow their calendar, like hold it in September, that means we're like 3 months away from the award. So, and the album dropped in May, so it's still very fresh, and it's a lot of its impact are still being felt, right? So yeah, that might like come in her favor, and she might be the one to win the award. So yeah, so far Ira Star's Year 2021 is leading the race to win the album of the year, and I think it's the best album to have dropped this year so far, 2024.
Okay.
And song of the year, right?
Yeah, song of the year.
Song of the year. Again, we considered from April last year to possibly this year to those particular points. So the couple of songs to consider, I think leading the race right now is Lonely at the top, Ashake. Yeah, then you have to consider Egu, Chicken, Mobat, Egu. There's City Boys, Burna Boy, City Boy. Yeah. There's Kiss Daniels, Swear. There's She Vibes, Different Pattern. And I would have thrown in Odumo the Blacks and Charlie Poppy's Cast, but it's quite a controversial song because of the lyrics, if you know whatever. So that might count against them. So I'm not sure they might get nominated for that particular reason. But other than that, it was one of the biggest songs of last year. I should definitely get a look in. And from this year so far, the songs that I've dropped this year, I cannot really say there's a song that I will put in the song of the year category from this year, and is reflective of a slow year we've had.
Yeah.
We've had popular songs though this year, but I don't think there's any song that is big enough to compete with what we saw last year. But there's still time anyway. I like to think a lot of these songs dropped towards the end of last year, or at least the second half of last year. I think Shake dropped his album. Was it August? No, or was it June or August? I can't remember for sure. But I know Burna Boy dropped his in August. Then Different Pattern dropped in December. Egu dropped in November. I think Cast also dropped. I think the mid year. So there's still time. There's still time to also drop in December. So there's still time for for us to see get this smash hit this year. Although if the earliest is going to happen in September, that means we're definitely running out of time.
Yeah.
We've seen popular songs this year: Rodo, AG, Adenuga, Dila, a couple of popular songs, but nothing that kind of measure up to what we had last year. So for song of the year, I don't know. I don't Love Me Jeje this year. I'm not. This Ogechi, that song is taken off too.
Yeah, I was going to say
But I can't say who is a clear. I'm not sure where I can say is a clear, contender for song of the year so far. I would maybe lean more towards Lonely at the top. I think it's in terms of impact, in terms of longevity, and in terms of overall success, it's kind of like head and shoulders above the rest. Yeah, maybe Loli at the top, City Boy, Egu, Tsue. Yeah, those four. I think those four are they are most like if there's going to be a song of the year award right now, it's going to come from any of those four.
Okay, so do you think there's still going to be a breakout artist in 2024?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we have seen breakout artists this year. To be fair, we've seen Ayomaf, we've seen Nas Boy. I think Nas Boy, this is his most successful year yet. I think he dropped Umbrella this year, right? The one with one, the code was last year. I think he dropped the Small Money this year. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Small Money this year. I think he's having a strong year yet. Maybe his best year yet. So maybe I'll call him a breakout artist this year. King Madi is also having a good year. So I think this is a breakout year. Although she dropped an EP last year, a lot of the success has come from this year. There's been Badman Niku, and we started popping last year with the release of he dropped 2 EPs last year. I think OTP also dropped Boyana, and OTP had the Off the Planet song. I can't sing it because it's very vulgar, but I like the song. Yes, it's quite popular. So he's having a good year as well. Then there's TML Vibe, there's Moise. So yeah, we've seen new artists emerge, and recorded some success and had some impact. But for talking about in terms of what we saw last year, by February, March last year, Charlie Poppy was already a problem. It was already a problem. Oba Pluto already dropped Elon Musk. He had an EP that had 4 songs. He was already blowing up the place. I think by March last year as well, Picanto already took off. And I think Picanto took off around January or February. Then by March, April, he dropped Declan Rice. Odumodu dropped Declan Rice, and it blew up the place. It just went ballistic, right? So in terms of what we saw last year, when we compare in terms of the size of the artists that broke out, in terms of their impact, no, I'm not sure we can replicate that this year. Although we can say for sure, but I think if we're going to see an artist of that caliber this year, it probably should have happened already. I mean, if you consider 2022 as well, I mean, Ashake is not the best example because for all intents and purposes, Ashake is an anomaly, right? People like Ashake comes once in a generation. He's a special artist, right? So Ashake happened in January, entered Omokwe in January, dropped the EP in January. Omokwe was there, the Traboski was there, blew up the place, then just went on an incredible run of 8 songs in 2022, right? And capped it up with an album. Then I think it was around August. Was it August, September? I'm not sure when we got She Vibes. When She Vibes dropped Chance, then there were two of the that broke out in 2022. Then we also saw Charlie Poppy and Modo Black in 2023, right? So in terms of the size of the artist, in terms of being from relative obscurity to stardom, I'm not sure. that we'll see that this year. Because if it's going to happen, it probably should have happened, right? But we've seen a couple of good new artists break out. So, but I don't know. I can't say, we can't rule these things out. But I'm not going to really. I don't think I can put my money on it and say we're going to see a new artist like break out the way Charlie Poppy and Mood Black did last year.
Okay, so to conclude, what would you say your expectations are from the second half of the year?
I think my expectations are just like essentially the expectations of the average consumer as well. More solid projects, and that should be a given that more artists will drop projects. The window to drop albums is reducing. It's not closing, but it's reducing. But we're getting to a couple of days from now will be in July.
Yeah.
Will be in July, and you want to drop your album. You don't want to get your album choked out because a couple of big stars are poised to drop album. Davido says he's going to drop an album. Whiskey says he's going to drop an album. Tiwa might still drop an album. Fireboy is dropping an album. Oxley is dropping an album. Runtown might drop an album. Who else? A couple of big names would drop. Ashake is dropping an album, right? So it's and Burna Boy might just surprise us with an album. So these are big names, and you have to find a way to put when to release your album, a way to the best time that you can release your album that doesn't get choked out by these big names, right? So this window is kind of like it's reducing. So artists are going to have to find a way to drop the music as soon as possible. So I think that's going to create volume as well. And the hope is that a lot of these albums are quality. A lot of these albums are quality. I genuinely think we've not. Ira Star's album, amazing. Temp's album, top quality.
Yeah.
Victoria's album, top quality. As far as mainstream album goes this year, for the rest they've been okay. Some disappointing, to be honest, and I would like to hope that the rest of the artists dropping an album, they actually do put in the work to drop an album that just doesn't reflect what the thing they're trying to do, and try to like say, okay, this is my sound, this is what I'm trying to do, but actually pay attention to quality, pay attention to something that people can enjoy, something that would endure, and something that would live up to the expectation Ira Star already said. Right, so that's my number one expectation for the second half of the year: top quality projects. I'll be hoping the year takes shape in terms of sonics, right? In terms of the type of music we're making. Right now, it's still Amapiano. It's still pretty much Amapiano dominated industry. Listening to the New Music Friday today, a couple of songs that dropped still Amapiano. It's right from big artists, right? But at the same time, we've seen these artists try to explore more traditional sound, and I'm happy that possibly a bit of the noise I made might have encouraged that. Yeah, because I do make a lot of noise about enough of the Amapiano, so lockdown. So Fuse dropped a song today, Majo, some madness, sampled Adewale Ayuba's Ijo Fuji. Yeah, so it's crazy. There's different pattern. One of the biggest songs so far, Apala. Ashake has Extravaganza is meant to drop, and that's just like a hit song in waiting, right? We've seen someone like K-Style do a berry that samples like southern eastern south music. We've seen this Ogechi song that is popping up, which interestingly, because I didn't really know about the song until, to be honest, I saw it on turntable, right? I think it got to number 7 or 6, and I saw like who's these people, and that's when I should have gone and played the song. And I think I did play the song, but I just left it at that. And I saw it on Apple Music. I used to check Apple Music once in a while. Yeah. So I was like, what's happening? Like, who are people playing this song? So get it to the top of this chart. So when the video says up in the remix, I was like, damn man, I put it with that. I never had this song. The people said it was really popular. Over 300k videos on TikTok, and it's huge in the southeast, trying to break into Lagos, right? So I think it's going to be one of the biggest songs of this year, and it has that southern eastern flavor, right? So a lot of the songs are Twe is essentially a Tumba song. Rodo is an interpolation of a lot of Musile Shola, Musile Shola Soyoyo. So we've seen these artists go back to traditional sound and try to make something of it. I think it's amazing. I think it shows the multiplicity of music we have in Nigerian industry, Nigerian music, and also the richness of our indigenous music as well. And like it helps us to evolve our sound internally. we do not have to always sit ducks and wait for something to start popping from a part of the world that we can take borrow from. Not when you want to borrow from Azonto, you want to borrow from Ghana Bounce, you borrow from Amapiano and waiting for the next wave that you can ride. I mean, let's look within. Let's look within and evolve our sound, right? And balance it out as we're making music that carries international appeal and appeals to the sensitivity of the global audience. Let's also, let's make it from a domesticated perspective. Like let's make it from a Nigerian perspective. And that's why I respect and I really do appreciate what an artist like Victoni is doing. Victoni writes music like someone that doesn't really care if, let me not say it doesn't really care if the average American or British understands him, but someone that wants you to know that I'm a Nigerian guy, that Pidgin is my primary language. Like his use of Pidgin is so fancy. Like the way he uses his Pidgin is so really crazy, and he makes it, and he experiments possibly more than anyone else. A lot of experimentation. If you listen to his album, there's this song. Was it Kolo? And it was a dance. It was dance beats, right? And he was giving quintessential Afrobeat writing. Remember, like flow, Pidgin. You understand? Like he was next to St. John and he was giving you Pidgin, right? Like he was telling you, okay, you are going to enjoy this Pidgin English, even though I'm going to put it within the context of a sonics that will appeal to the global audience, like this, the way it will sound, the mid-tempo melody, the way to carry that pop flow, the soul it will convey is going to appeal to a global audience, but it's going to be quintessentially Nigerian. You're going to know this is Nigerian music, and it borrows from even like Nigerian indigenous sounds. It goes back in time. It's songs like Jolene. This is songs that brought from Nigerian high life, and it like pays homage to the music our parents listen to when they're growing up, and that's music that will like appeal to the whole demographic, right? So it's important that we look within. And I think in the second half of the year, I really do hope that Nigerian artists look within, because there's a lot of music internally. And I think I did the facsimile of should Ashake make a Fuji album. I think yes, he should. He should, because at the core of his artistry, he's a Fuji artist. If there was no, if Afrobeats wasn't something, like if Nigerian mainstream pop didn't happen, he would likely be a Fuji artist with band, performing live music, right? Like your Oshupa and the likes, right? So we need to look within. We need to look within, and it's nice to see that a lot of artists are looking within. And I'm also glad to say I played the role, or I played my role. Yeah, so I remember the first artist, or the first couple of artists that would, even the first artist that will crack this indigenous music sound and score back-to-back hit with it is going to lead the next wave of sound. He's going to lead the next wave of sound. And I mean, he already did Extravaganza, and it sounds like it's already a hit even before dropping. So we're expecting Lungu Boy, and with Lungu Boy, I think he just might be the one to change the sonics and just stay Afrobeat in the different direction, and take us away from that Amapiano craze. The thing with artists is that they do what is popular. When it comes to pop music, they follow the trend. They just sit back and see what's popping. If it's working for this person, it's working for that person, and it's worked for like a couple of people, you just hop on the bus as well. So everyone is hopping on the Amapiano bus right now, and that is what is happening. That is what's still dominating 2024. And maybe in the second half of the year, it might be different. It's just like when everyone was trying to rap before they discovered that, okay, singing gives you more money. The moment rappers start becoming the biggest artists in Nigeria, like the moment rappers start driving the biggest cars, buying the biggest houses, and becoming the most talked about artists in Nigeria, as in terms of like in bulk, then everyone will start rapping again. So that's just the way it works with the mainstream. So second half of the year, hopefully we get to see the Amapiano dominance reduce, and a new sound that is truly Nigerian and that embraces more of Nigerian indigenous culture, shine. And lastly, on new artists breaking out, again, as I said, if we're going to see an artist at the level of Odumodu Black and Charlie Poppy, we probably should have seen it already. So that's going to be hard. We can't rule it out, but I think it's going to be difficult to see a new artist of that particular level of that particular stardom breakout this year. So essentially it's just to look forward to a better second half of the year than we've had so far, and it's not going to be, it shouldn't be difficult. I don't think it's a tall order. uh, the first half of the year wasn't the craziest. Things didn't pick up until May. So far we have like, talk speaking about album of the year contenders, that are albums that have dropped just this year, not even considering 2023, just this year. And if you saw, like, if I'm going to choose album of the year contender so far, I maybe, I don't want to, like, let me choose mainstream music, because Tim Dakolo is not mainstream, even though he's a big man, and Iglesias he's not a mainstream rapper, even though he's also a big man. So in terms of like the guys that make the charts, um, let's just even see everything, all the albums that have dropped this year, because definitely Edis is definitely going to nominate a couple of his album. Tim Dakolo is the chorus leader. Iglesias Sidekai, um, Ira Stars definitely leading the race for album of the year 2021. Thames, Born in the Wild, and Victor is Stubborn, right? Then Dotty, there's this guy Dotty, shout out to Dotty, Dotty dropped an album, Madam BRS, fantastic album, right? So I think, yeah, he might get a look into, because it's a very good album. Folk music shows the culture, like the indigenous richness of Nigerian music. So that's one album I hope actually gets a look in. So yeah, so a lot of stars have not dropped albums, and so come second half of the year, I would expect that their project actually measures up to what we've had so far. And in terms of hit songs, we've not really have like huge songs this year. No song has blown us out of the water. No song has measured up to what we had last year. So second half of the year, we'll be looking to, like, hopefully summer kicks off the run of hits for Afrobeat, and we're looking to see songs that would give us a bit of headache in choosing a song of the year when the year comes to an end. So yeah, I'm excited for second half of the year. We'll see what he has in store for us, and that's facts only.